Today we're going to make chili. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take some black beans and I'm going to pour them into a pan or a bowl or whatever you want to use. You're going to have a few small pieces which are not going to be palatable. You might even have a few stones in here, so you've got to kind of go through it manually, and you've got to pick out the pieces that you think are not going to be that good in the finished product. So just manually go through it and be very picky. If there's something you don't like, just take it out. So these are dried beans. Normally what you do is you do this and then you soak them overnight in the fridge in water, but me, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to cook them here. There we go. Looks like I've got all the not so good ones out. Just going through it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add water to this and I'm going to give them a good rinse. So just go through it and give it a good rinsing. Now I'm doing this here just so you see what I'm doing, but it's better to do this, of course, over a sink. So just kind of, mush it up with your hands and give it a good rinse over. Now we're going to add some water to the pan, a good amount of it, so that we can basically cover the beans and then some. Because what we're going to do is we're going to boil this for probably about 2 hours. There we go. That's a good volume. It's like more than half of the pan is now full of water. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our freshly washed beans and we're going to put them into the pan. And we're not going to add any salt because salt will affect the permeability of the beans. So the beans are going to be tough. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put the beans into fresh water, and what we can do is we can add a few things, like for example, we can add a little bit of spice to give it a little bit of flavor. Here I'm going to add just a little bit of pepper. No salt. But I choose to, I'm going to add some chili at this stage. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this up into a few little pieces. And this chili is going to give it a really terrific flavor when it's done. So not too much. I used about half that piece of chili, and we're just going to dump it in. Now at this stage of the game, you can also add things like onions, garlic, etc. That's going to really cook in that flavor into those beans. So what I've done is I've added also some onions and some garlic. So to 1 cup of beans, 1 onion and a couple of cloves of garlic. This is going to give it a fantastic flavor, and that's going to cook right into those beans. It's going to slow cook. So I'm just going to cover that over, and you notice the onions are large, so it's going to look chunky when it's done. And it's going to give it that fantastic texture, that chunkiness, that texture, that creaminess. You're going to see the finished product when it's finished. So we're just going to cover it up, and we're going to leave a little bit of a gap here so that the steam can escape so it doesn't blow up on you. We're going to let this boil, again probably for 2 hours. Let it do its thing, and we're going to come back to it in the video. You wouldn't believe how good these things smell after about 1 hour of cooking. Now I've added water since, but let's have a look. Look at that! Wow, delicious. And have a taste of this because it smells totally fantastic. Look at that! It's wow. Look at the onions. They've like almost caramelized. I'm going to try this. Delicious. And it's softening up. It's softening up really well, and it's got the flavor of that chili and the pepper. And I'm just giving it a bit of a stir. This is going to be fantastic when it's done. I'm just going to have a bit of this onion too. Delicious. This is going to be fantastic. Let's try a few of the beans. Very good. So I'm just going to add a little bit more water to this. Once again, as I added water to it previously, but I'm going to add more as I want them to soak in all that water, become totally soft. There we go. So I'm going to put the lid on this thing once again, and we'll come back to it. Okay, here we are back to it. Now this has been cooking for about an hour and a half. So I'm just going to pull the lid off and we'll have a look. Look at that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Have a little bit of taste. Look at that. It looks like it's softened up beautifully. Make sure it's cool. Delicious. Wow. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish off the chili. Now I'm using leftovers. So in my case, I've got green beans. I've got cactus. I've got tomatoes. Tomatoes is essential in chili. Spinach. And I also have some more onions. So I'm just going to dump the whole thing in. And this is going to make a really, really hearty vegetable chili when it's done. Now I'm using vegetables. Normally I would add chorizo or longaniza. Both of those are kind of meat sausages. They're spicy sausages here in Mexico. And but in this case, I'm just using my leftovers. Doesn't that just look fantastic? You wouldn't believe how good this smells. It's just a total thumbs up. And now you should use tomato sauce or tomato paste also, since it's kind of, this is a leftover chili. What I've done is I've taken a tomato cube. Remember, these cubes have a lot of salt in them, so I'm not going to add any extra salt to this. And I'm going to put in this this tomato cube into this mixture. And work it in there a little bit. This is a kind of these cubes are very intensive flavoring. So really what is preferred is a tomato sauce or a tomato paste, and then you add things to your liking. But this is how I'm going to make this one. And you know, I have some hot dogs and things like that, but I think I'm just going to make this a vegetable chili, a vegetable bean chili. Doesn't that just look fantastic? And I'm just kind of winding it up. Now I want the steam to cook these veggies, so I'm going to put the lid back on. It's so beautiful. Look at that. Look at the colors. I'm looking at it through I'm using a cell phone, and the colors are just amazing. So we're just going to cover it again, and we're going to leave a little space for the steam to go out. And we're going to come back to this in about 15 minutes, give or take. Here is the finished product. You can see I've added some whole wheat bread, and this is the chili here. I'm just going to try a little bit. Buttery soft, and I feel the flavor of the chili in the beans, which is fantastic. And plus it's got that tomato, that a little bit of salt, some pepper, and but it has that fantastic flavor, and it's just buttery soft. Look at it in the light. Delicious. It melts in your mouth. I can't describe it. The secret to making this is really time. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm going to bring it close. Look at that. It really is buttery soft. And it smells fantastic. Look at the cactus and everything. Delicious. Click the card for some more great cooking videos. See you in the next one.